Jake Harland never imagined his quiet life as an orbital mechanic would turn into something strange. He worked on Station 11, a small human trading point that circled a blue gas giant called Virex. The station was peaceful, calm, and honestly a little boring. Jake liked it that way. He woke up, fixed machines, ate freeze-dried meals, and argued with the same 5 co-workers every day. Nothing exciting ever happened. That changed on a night when the station lights flickered for no clear reason. Jake was walking back to his quarters after a long shift. His hands were still dirty from repairing a docking clamp. He was tired and thinking only about food and sleep when he noticed a strange hum behind him, soft at first, then sharper, like glass vibrating. He turned. A circular ripple hung in the hallway air, glowing with bright silver light. It was like someone had drawn a perfect ring in space. Jake had seen many mechanical oddities in his life, but nothing like this. The ring slowly expanded, sending waves of cold air across his face. Control? Jake said into his comm. We have some kind of... He never finished. The ring snapped open like a mouth, and a burst of white energy pulled him forward. He tried to grab a wall rail, but his hands slipped. In less than a second, the hallway disappeared and the world became only light and pressure. Then everything went dark. Jake woke up on something smooth, cold, and strangely comfortable. At first he thought he was back in the station infirmary, but when he opened his eyes, he saw the ceiling above him glowing with a soft blue mist. The room was shaped like a perfect circle, and the walls shimmered like crystal water. He was lying on a floating platform, held up by some kind of energy field. He tried to sit up, but gentle restraints around his arms kept him from moving much. Not tight, not painful, but firm enough to stop him. "What in the universe?" Jake muttered. A set of footsteps echoed, light and almost musical. A figure stepped into view. She looked humanoid, but clearly not human. Her skin was a soft violet shade, glowing faintly. Her hair floated around her head like strands of starlight. Her eyes were large, silver, and calm. She wore a smooth robe made of thin, bright material that shifted color with every breath. "Greetings," she said in a steady, almost curious tone. "You are awake now? Good." Jake stared. "Where?" "Am I? And who are you?" "I am Astra 9, research apprentice of the Corellian Empire," she answered. "This is my mobile laboratory. You were transported here by accident. Well, part accident, part opportunity." Jake blinked. "Opportunity? For who?" "For science," Astra 9 said simply, as if it was the most natural answer. Jake tried to move again. The restraints glowed softly. "Okay, look, I don't know what this is, but you can't just..." "You are not in danger," Astra 9 said quickly. "These restraints are only to stop sudden movement. They are non-harmful. I will release you when the study is complete." "What study?" "My thesis," she replied with excitement. "I am researching human potential capacity. I was supposed to study humans on your station from a distance, but the portal malfunctioned and pulled you inside. Since you were already here, it became efficient to proceed with direct testing." Jake groaned. "Great. I get abducted because your homework schedule was tight." Astra 9 tilted her head, confused by the sarcasm. "Yes. In simple terms." Jake sighed. "All right, fine. What do you want to test?" Astra 9 suddenly activated a display in the air. Symbols, charts, and energy lines floated around Jake. Human adaptability, stress reaction, improvisation skill, logic speed, emotional stability, taste identification, and cultural recall. "Taste identification?" "Yes," she said seriously. "Humans react strongly to food flavors. I am curious." Jake closed his eyes. "Please just make this quick." "I will. Let us begin." The first test was harmless. A holographic maze appeared above Jake, and Astra 9 asked him to solve it by directing a tiny glowing sphere with only his thoughts. It took him a few tries, but the sphere eventually rolled through the twisting paths. Human cognitive pattern is surprisingly dynamic, Astra 9 noted. Jake didn't know if that was a compliment or not. Next, she projected several puzzles that looked like alien logic grids. Jake stared at them until his brain hurt, guessed a few things, and somehow got most correct. Astra 9 tapped her tablet. Your improvisation score is high. Lady, I'm literally guessing. That is improvisation, she said with a nod. After that, the tests grew stranger. A mechanical arm lowered a tray of bright-colored alien snacks. Astra 9 asked him to identify taste profiles and emotional responses. Jake took small bites of each one. This one tastes like burnt plastic, he said. Astra 9 nodded, writing notes. Interesting. It is our Goldberry Delight. Delight? Really? This one tastes like cinnamon and sadness. That is a common response. Jake wasn't sure if he should be worried. The final test was a stress simulation. A soft alarm filled the room, and the lights changed to a dim red. Do not panic, Astra 9 said. This is only a scenario. You must tell me your decisions if your station were under attack. Jake answered honestly, calmly, logically, maybe more bravely than he felt. Astra 9's eyes widened as she recorded everything. You are unusual, she whispered. Jake frowned. Unusual how? Corellians struggle with emotional flexibility. Humans seem to adapt fast. You especially. He shrugged. Humans get used to things quickly. Even weird things. Astra 9 looked genuinely impressed. Your responses exceed expected human averages. Perhaps the accident was fortunate. Your data is extremely valuable. Jake grimaced. Yeah, lucky me. Hours passed. The tests ended. Jake felt tired but unharmed. Astra 9 finally touched a glowing panel and the restraints released. Jake sat up slowly, rubbing his wrists. Astra 9 stepped closer, studying him with her large silver eyes. I apologize for the restraint device. It is standard procedure. You may move freely now. Jake stood, looking around the crystal-like room. So, am I going home now? Astra 9 paused, unsure. Yes, I will return you soon. But first, I must review the data. It is complicated. How complicated? Astra 9 hesitated, something rare for her. Your results are unlike anything I predicted. Humans are already adaptable, but your scores are far above standard. The Council will be very interested. Jake crossed his arms. Council? What council? The Corellian High Council, she said simply. All research involving possible species evolution or unusual potential must be reported. Jake froze. Wait, you're telling me your government is going to look at my test results? Yes. And they might want to... What? Study me? Question me? Astra 9 nodded softly. Possibly, but I will argue for your release. This was meant to be a simple thesis, not a political matter. Jake sighed loudly, rubbing his face in frustration. Fantastic. I go to work, fix a docking clamp, and next thing I know, I'm homework. Astra 9 blinked. Homework? It means someone used me for their assignment. Ah, yes. Correct. He stared at her new smile, small, curious, but sincere. Then he sighed again. Fine. Just take me back. Please. Astra 9 turned to her controls and activated the portal device. The air rippled once more. But before she could send him home, the control panel flashed red, and a message appeared in shimmering Corellian text. Astra 9 read it, and her expression shifted from calm to alarm. Oh no, Jake stepped back. What now? The Council. They have already detected the data. They have ordered your immediate transport to the capital. Jake's stomach dropped. Wait, what? I didn't agree to that. Astra 9 looked at him with a mix of worry and guilt. I know, I am sorry. but the order is binding. You are now under official study by the Empire." The portal behind her grew brighter, swirling with energy. Jake stared at it, then at her. This night just keeps getting better. The portal pulse echoed across the room as Astra 9 whispered, "Jake Harland, your life is about to change." And the vortex opened wide. The swirling portal glowed brighter than before, filling Astra 9's laboratory with white light. Jake threw an arm over his eyes as the energy wrapped around him. The floor disappeared, the air grew thin, and time stretched like melted plastic. When the light finally faded, he found himself standing on solid ground again, only it wasn't ground he recognized. He was on a wide platform made of shining metal. Above him, a huge dome of transparent crystal showed a sky filled with swirling purple clouds and 3 moons. The air was cool and carried the faint smell of mint. Strange ships drifted overhead like floating silver petals. Everything looked advanced, polished, and completely alien. Astra 9 appeared beside him, stepping out of the portal as if she had walked through a door. Her expression was serious, too serious for Jake's comfort. "Welcome," she said quietly, "to the Corellian capital." Jake slowly turned in place, eyes wide. The city around them rose in elegant curves and spirals, glowing with soft lights. It was the most beautiful place he had ever seen, but beauty didn't calm him. He felt cornered like a mouse dropped into a room full of polite but dangerous cats. "I didn't agree to be brought here," he reminded her. Astra 9 nodded with a guilty frown. "Yes, I am aware. The Council gave the order before I could ask for your permission." "Fantastic," Jake muttered. "Your people have great manners." Astra 9 glanced at him. "In our culture, knowledge and discovery are considered higher than personal comfort. But I will speak for you. I promise." Her promise sounded sincere, but Jake still felt like he was being marched into a royal courtroom without knowing the charges. 2 tall guards approached, slender beings with shimmering armor and long staffs that hummed softly. Their eyes were the same silver color as Astra 9's, but colder, more formal. "Research apprentice Astra 9, one of them said. "The Council awaits. The specimen will come with us." Jake stiffened. "Specimen?" Astra 9 stepped forward quickly. "His name is Jake Harland. He is a person, not a specimen." The guards exchanged looks, but didn't argue. One simply gestured for them to follow. Jake leaned closer to Astra 9 as they walked. "When someone calls me specimen, it does not make me feel better." "I know," she whispered. "I will correct them." They walked through broad hallways lined with tall purple crystals that glowed like living flames. Corellians passed by, some tall, some short, all graceful and calm. Many stared at Jake with open curiosity, as if he were a rare creature. Jake swallowed nervously. Finally, they reached a grand circular chamber. The ceiling rose high above like a giant dome full of floating symbols. At the center sat a large round table made of shimmering material. Around it sat 12 Corellians in decorated robes. Their faces were serious, wise, and difficult to read. The High Council. Astra 9 bowed respectfully. Jake stood awkwardly beside her, unsure what to do with his hands. One of the council members spoke first. His voice was deep and steady. "Astra 9, you have collected extraordinary data. The human sample displays exceptional potential. You did well to bring him." Jake frowned. "Human sample? You can just say me, you know?" Several council members focused their silver eyes on him. Their curiosity intensified. Jake felt like an animal in a zoo, except the animals here could talk and write laws. A female elder leaned forward. "State your designation." Jake blinked. "My what?" Astra 9 whispered. "They want your name." "Oh, Jake Harland." The council murmured quietly, noting it down. Another elder spoke. Your cognitive tests exceed all human averages recorded by the Empire. Your adaptability score is nearly perfect. Your stress responses are balanced. Your improvisation skills, remarkable. Jake rubbed his neck. Thanks, I guess. This makes you a candidate, the elder continued. Jake froze. A candidate for what? The room fell silent. Not unfriendly, but heavy, like something important was about to be dropped on his head. Then the high speaker, a tall Corellian with glowing marks across his arms, said the words that changed everything. You may be the adaptive sovereign. Astra 9 inhaled sharply. Jake just stared like someone had told him he won the lottery and the punishment at the same time. I may be the what now? Jake asked slowly. The adaptive sovereign, the high speaker repeated. A being predicted in our ancient calculations. A leader capable of guiding the Empire into its next evolutionary phase. Jake blinked several times, then shook his head. No, you've got the wrong guy. I fix docking clamps, I eat cheap station food. I am not leading anything. One of the council members raised a hand. Our prophecy indicates that the sovereign will not be a typical Corellian. They will be from another world and possess an unusual mix of logic and instinct. Astra 9 stepped forward. Honored Council, Jake was brought here by accident. His test results may simply reflect human flexibility. Or, another elder countered, they may indicate destiny. Jake put his hands up. Okay, hold on. Destiny is a strong word. Can we not use that word around me? A few of the council members tilted their heads, confused. Astra 9 quietly explained the meaning of destiny in human culture. The council nodded with understanding, though they clearly did not intend to stop using it. The high speaker looked at Jake with calm seriousness. Human, your potential must be confirmed. Therefore, you will undergo the Ascension trials. Trials? Jake repeated. That sounds bad. They are not harmful, the high speaker assured him. They are tests of leadership, problem-solving, and decision-making. You will be guided. Jake looked at Astra 9, who looked back with a mixture of worry and guilt. Do I have a choice? He asked quietly. Astra 9 hesitated too long. That answered the question. The high speaker raised his staff. A faint tone filled the chamber. The human will begin the first trial in one cycle. Until then, he will receive lodging, nourishment, and cultural preparation. Jake gave a weak thumbs up. Nice. At least I get food. Astra 9 sighed. After the meeting, the guards escorted Jake and Astra 9 to a living suite. It was spacious, almost luxurious. Curved furniture, floating lights, and a wall made entirely of transparent crystal overlooking the glowing city. Jake sat heavily on a soft couch. I can't believe this. 1 minute I'm working a normal shift, and the next I'm being told I might become king of an alien empire? Astra 9 sat across from him. The Corellian Empire does not have kings in the human sense, but the role is similar, a leader who guides the network of minds that maintain our society. Jake stared at her. That sounds worse. Astra 9 winced. I understand your fear, truly, but the Council is not cruel. Their actions follow ancient calculations and tradition. Yeah, well, Jake muttered. Maybe they should update the tradition. Astra 9 gave him a faint smile. You are very human. Jake rubbed his face with both hands. What happens if I fail these trials? You will likely be sent home, Astra 9 said, but the Council must confirm your potential first. They believe the universe does not make mistakes. Jake stood and walked to the crystal window, staring at the 3 moons. The universe makes all kinds of mistakes. Trust me. Astra 9 approached slowly. Jake, I am sorry for bringing you here. I truly thought I would return you before the Council noticed. But your results were too unusual. Jake turned toward her. You're not a bad person. Just A scientist doing her job. I get it. She looked relieved. Thank you. But, Jake added, I'm terrified. Astra 9 nodded softly. I will help you through the trials. You will not face them alone. Jake took a deep breath. Okay, fine. Let's do these trials. But please tell me there's no test that involves fighting giant alien animals. Astra 9 hesitated. Jake's eyes widened. Wait, there isn't, right? Astra 9 didn't answer, and that silence told Jake everything he needed to know. Jake didn't sleep that night. How could he? The bed was soft, the room was calm, and the glowing city outside was beautiful. But his mind felt like a machine running too fast. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the council, their silver eyes staring at him, waiting for him to prove his destiny. He didn't feel like someone with destiny. He felt like someone who wanted to go home. When morning came, Astra 9 entered the room with a floating tray of alien breakfast, soft, glowing cubes that smelled like fruit, and a cup of something warm and minty. Jake poked the food with suspicion. Is this safe? Astra 9 nodded. Very safe, nutritious, mild flavor. Jake took a bite. It tastes like grapes and toothpaste. That is an accurate description, she said cheerfully. Jake forced himself to eat because he knew he would need energy for the day. Today was the start of the Ascension trials, the tests the Council believed would reveal whether he truly could become the adaptive sovereign. Astra 9 handed him a simple silver outfit to wear. This will help you move freely and protect you if the trials become challenging. Jake frowned. Define challenging. Astra 9 remained silent for a suspiciously long moment. Jake sighed. Never mind. I'll find out. The first trial. Harmony negotiation. The trial chamber was a massive amphitheater filled with glowing platforms. In the center floated a group of creatures that looked like shimmering slugs made of liquid silver. They pulsed with soft lights, communicating through color, not words. Astra 9 whispered, These are the Lyrians, a telepathic species. They speak in emotions and images. Your task is to negotiate a mutual cooperation agreement. Jake stared. I can't even negotiate with my co-workers for a lunch break. A council member raised a hand. Begin! The Lyrians floated toward Jake. Their bodies pulsed with blue light, curiosity. Jake took a deep breath and waved awkwardly. Hello? A wave of green rippled through the creatures. Confusion. Jake quickly rephrased, choosing simple words. I want peace, cooperation, friendship. A soft yellow glow passed through the Lyrians' interest. They projected mental images into Jake's mind. A calm ocean, a shared garden, hands exchanging tools. Jake understood. They wanted a symbolic gesture of exchange. He didn't have anything to give, so he improvised. He removed the small wrench he always kept in his pocket, his lucky tool, the one he had carried since his first day as a mechanic. Astra 9's eyes widened. Jake, that is important to you. I know, Jake whispered, but peace is important too. He held the wrench out. The Lyrians examined it, then turned bright gold, approval. They projected a final image, a bridge between stars. The council murmured in surprise. The high speaker announced, The first trial is complete. The human shows symbolic reasoning and emotional clarity. Jake tried not to collapse in relief. The second trial, the Orb Ship Challenge. The next trial took place in an open arena where a spherical ship rested on a raised platform. The ship had no visible controls, no buttons, no levers, no steering system. Astra 9 explained gently, This is an orb ship, controlled only through instinct and focus. Kirellians use psionic energy, humans do not, but your test results show strange brain activity. You may be able to activate it. Jake stared at the ship. You want me to drive a spaceship with my mind? Yes, Jake groaned. Wonderful. He climbed inside the orb ship. The interior was smooth and filled with soft lights. The council signaled the start of the trial. Nothing happened. Jake touched the walls. Hello, ship? Can you hear me? Still nothing. He remembered what Astra 9 said. Instinct. So he closed his eyes, breathed slowly, and imagined the ship was an extension of his own body. He pictured pushing forward like stepping into wind. Suddenly, the ship hummed. Jake gasped as the orb ship lifted off the platform smoothly. Whoa! Okay, this feels weird! The council watched in shock as the orb ship glided through the air. Jake guided it clumsily at first, wobbling like a beginner on a bike. But then something clicked. He relaxed and simply let instinct take over. He flew through glowing rings, dodged floating pillars, and even performed an accidental flip that earned him startled applause. When the ship landed, Jake stepped out trembling but smiling. I didn't crash. That should earn bonus points. Astra 9 looked amazed. Jake, humans are not supposed to be able to pilot orb ships. Jake shrugged. I guess nobody told me the rules. The council noted his score with interest. The third trial, the labyrinth of choices. The third trial took place inside a large dome with changing walls and shifting platforms. Astra 9 explained the rules. There is no right path, only choices. Your decisions will be recorded to measure leadership and emotional judgment. Jake nodded slowly. Okay, a moving maze. I can handle that. He entered the labyrinth. Immediately, walls shifted behind him, blocking the exit. Strange holographic creatures appeared. Some looked friendly, others scary, some weak, some strong. A hologram of a small, trembling creature appeared in front of him. A timer glowed above it. 0:20. Jake could choose to save it or move forward. Jake bent down. It's okay, buddy. He picked up the hologram, and the timer vanished. A green light flashed above him. Correct emotional choice. As he walked deeper, two paths opened. One path showed a bright, safe light. The other looked dark and dangerous. Jake chose the dark one. The council, watching outside, murmured. Astra 9 whispered, He is choosing risk over comfort. Interesting. Inside the labyrinth, Jake explained to himself, if they want a leader, they want someone who doesn't just take the easy path. The maze challenged him with ethical questions, time pressure, and confusing illusions. Each choice recorded his instincts. Each turn tested his courage. Finally, after endless twists, he reached the final chamber. A holographic version of himself stood there. Jake blinked. Seriously? A mirror test? The double spoke in his own voice. Do you lead, or do you follow? Jake stared at it and answered honestly. I lead when I have to. I follow when someone else knows better. A good leader doesn't pretend to be perfect. The hologram smiled and dissolved. The maze opened. Jake stepped out, exhausted but proud. The council looked stunned. Astra 9 beamed with quiet joy. You did well, very well. The council's reaction. Back in the grand chamber, the council reviewed the results. His decisions show instinctual leadership, one elder said. Emotional balance, another added. Exceptional adaptability, said a third. The high speaker looked at Jake. Human, you have passed 3 trials. Only one remains before your potential is confirmed. Jake held up a hand. Hold on, time out. I need a break, water, a nap. Maybe a long week of sleep. The high speaker blinked. You may have 30 minutes. Jake groaned. That is not enough. Astra 9 placed a gentle hand on his arm. The final trial is tomorrow. You will rest today. Jake almost melted in relief. Thank you. But, she added softly, the last trial is the hardest. Jake froze. Hardest how? Astra 9 did not meet his eyes. In Corellian culture, The final trial measures one's ability to protect the many. It is a simulation of crisis. It can be frightening. Jake swallowed hard. Define frightening, Astra 9 whispered. Life-threatening, but not actually harmful. Jake covered his face. I hate that sentence. She sighed. I will guide you. You are not alone. Jake lowered his hands. That helps. A little. He looked out at the city, glowing under 3 moons. He whispered to himself, I didn't ask for this, but maybe I can do it. Astra 9 stood beside him quietly, her silver eyes soft with respect. For the first time, Jake felt something strange inside his chest. Not fear, not worry. Possibility. Jake woke up the next morning feeling like he had run a marathon in his sleep. His muscles were sore, his brain felt heavy, and he had a growing fear in his stomach. Today was the final trial, the one the council said would measure his ability to protect the many. That phrase alone terrified him. Astra 9 entered his room quietly, carrying a small blue orb of light that floated above her palm. Good morning, Jake. I hope you rested well. Jake groaned. Not at all. I dreamed I was being chased by a giant glowing slug. Astra 9 blinked. That is not part of the trial. Jake rolled his eyes. Yeah, thanks. She placed the blue orb on the table, and it unfolded like a flower, revealing a set of symbols. This will guide you through the last trial, she explained gently. But I must warn you, Jake. This trial is very important. The council will judge your actions closely. Jake sighed. Astra, every trial so far has been important. At this point, I'm surprised you don't have a test about tying shoelaces under pressure. Astra 9 smiled softly. Corellians do not wear shoes. Exactly my point. Despite his attempts to joke, Jake could see the worry in her silver eyes. She was nervous, not only for the test, but for him. She stepped closer. You have come far. Whatever happens today, you have already changed the council's view of humans. Jake nodded slowly. Thanks. But I still want to go home when this is done. Astra 9 hesitated. If you pass, going home may not be simple. Jake frowned. What does that mean? But Astra 9 turned away. We must go. The council waits. The final trial. The crisis simulation. The trial chamber was larger than any Jake had seen before. A massive dome with a holographic floor that looked like endless space. Floating islands made of light drifted in the air, and swirling energy filled the air like fog. A dozen council members waited on a platform above the chamber. One of them raised a hand. Human, the crisis simulation will begin now. The lights dimmed. The floor shimmered. Suddenly, Jake found himself standing in a holographic version of the Corellian capital. Buildings glowed, ships flew overhead, and thousands of holographic citizens moved through the streets. Jake looked around in awe. This looks real. It is real enough to judge your reactions, a council member said. Your task is to respond to an unexpected disaster and protect the city. Jake nodded. What kind of disaster? A loud roar cut him off. The holographic sky split open, and a massive wave of dark energy crashed down, shaking the city. Buildings trembled, the ground cracked, sirens echoed everywhere. Jake gasped. Oh, come on! This is insane! Astra 9's voice echoed through a communicator placed in his ear. It is only a simulation. You are safe. But the city will respond based on your decisions. Before he could answer, the ground shook again. A holographic tower collapsed, sending debris everywhere. Holographic citizens screamed. Jake acted on instinct. He ran toward a group trapped under a fallen structure. Move! Move! I'll get you out! He used leverage, pushing a beam with all his strength. It didn't budge until he saw a small crowbar-shaped tool in the debris, a hologram of his wrench. Jake grabbed it, wedged it in place, and pushed with all his might. The beam moved. The holographic citizens ran free, glowing briefly in acknowledgement before disappearing, a sign he had helped. The council observed silently. Astra 9 encouraged him. "Good. Keep going." Another explosion shook the simulation. A floating platform above the city started to fall. Inside it were dozens of holographic civilians. Jake looked around desperately. Then he spotted a control station with glowing panels. "Okay. Flying glowing city thing, work with me," he muttered as he ran to it. The controls were all alien symbols. He couldn't read them, so he did what he always did. He improvised. He pressed the largest symbol. The platform shook harder. "Wrong one!" he yelled. Astra 9's voice came through. "Jake, look closer. The symbols are energy flow indicators. Follow the smallest line first." Jake squinted, followed her hint, pressed another symbol, and the platform stabilized. He moved the controls gently, lowering the platform to safety. The citizens inside vanished in a soft light. Saved. The trial wasn't over. A new alert flashed in the sky. A wave of dark energy was approaching the city's central tower, the place that controlled the Empire's psionic network. Astra 9 whispered sharply, "Jake, if the network collapses even in simulation, the Council will consider it a failure. You must protect the tower." Jake sprinted toward the tower hologram. The dark energy was already swirling like a storm. The entrance was blocked by falling debris. Jake didn't stop. He climbed over, slipped through a gap, and ran up the glowing stairs. He reached the top, panting, and saw the core, a swirling blue crystal, but cracks were forming in it. "What do I do?" Jake yelled. Astra 9's voice trembled. "The psionic network responds to calm focus, but you are human. You have no psionic ability." Jake stared at the crystal. "I piloted the orb ship with instinct. Maybe I can do this too." He placed both hands on the crystal. It burned cold against his skin. The storm outside roared. Jake closed his eyes. He imagined calm, a quiet lake, a warm wind, the soft hum of machinery working correctly. The feeling of fixing something broken. The crystal glowed brighter. A wave of blue energy pushed back the darkness. The city stabilized. Silence fell. Then the simulation dissolved completely, leaving Jake standing alone in an empty chamber. He looked up at the council. Astra 9 stood beside them now, hands clasped nervously. The high speaker rose. "The final trial is complete." Jake swallowed hard. "Did I pass?" Silence stretched. Then the high speaker spoke. "You did more than pass. You showed qualities we believed only the adaptive sovereign could possess." Astra 9's eyes widened. Jake felt his stomach drop. No, don't crown me anything. I'm not staying here forever. I want to go home." The high speaker continued, calm but firm. "Jake Harland, you have proven your potential. The Empire recognizes you as the new adaptive sovereign." Jake nearly fainted. I don't want this." Astra 9 stepped forward quickly. "Honored Council, may I speak?" "Speak, Astra 9." She looked at them boldly. Jake did not ask for this role. He never sought power. He only tried to survive. Forcing him to stay would be unfair. Some council members nodded thoughtfully. Another elder added, "Yet tradition demands the sovereign lead." Jake took a deep breath. "Listen, I'll help you. I'll work with your empire. I'll support diplomacy between humans and Corellians. But I can't be a full-time king here. I belong home." Silence again. Then the high speaker raised his staff. "Very well," he said. "A compromise." Jake blinked. "A what?" "You will be the interim sovereign, a symbolic leader, a bridge between our worlds. You will guide diplomacy, not rule daily affairs. You may live on your world, but you will return when needed." Jake looked at Astra 9, who nodded in encouragement. "That actually sounds okay," Jake said quietly. The council bowed their heads together. So it shall be. Astra 9 smiled with real warmth. Congratulations, Jake. You are not trapped. You are chosen. Jake laughed weakly. Great. Now I just have to explain to my coworkers why I disappear sometimes to run an alien empire. Astra 9 bowed slightly. I will help you with that. The council prepared the coronation ceremony, not as a crown placed on his head, but a glowing mark added to his arm, a symbol of unity. As the mark shined softly, Jake looked out over the alien city. He felt nervous, confused, overwhelmed, but also proud. A simple human mechanic. Now a symbol of peace between worlds. Astra 9 stood beside him. A new era begins, she whispered. Jake nodded. Let's make it a good one. And so the adaptive sovereign was crowned, not as a ruler of power, but as a leader of cooperation, carrying hope between the stars.